Well, guys, I don't know really where to start today, so I'll probably start with the Gulf oil spill. Today's June 8th, 2010. Um, and all I really have to say about the Gulf oil spill is that if you happen to be one of those people that live down there on the Gulf, I don't care where you're at. If you're smelling strange things, if you're getting headaches, if you're experiencing some of what I've heard, like splotchy skin from the rain, or any just strange illnesses, or you're smelling the gas, or you're seeing the cover-ups, or you're just seeing something that's generally not right, get on the phone and call everybody you know and tell them about it that doesn't live in that area so that they know. I actually had somebody tell me, someone very close to me in fact, tell me that it's not possible that BP was covering up or arresting the media. And they then went on to tell me that it's not possible that it's now a law or a rule or whatever you want to call it, that the reporters can't get within 65 feet of that oil spill on the Gulf without getting federal permission first, elsewise facing a Class B felony and a $40,000 fine. They told me that wasn't possible. So again, if you're actually seeing some of this stuff, please call everybody you know that's not there and tell them what's going on. And tell them it might be a bit of an emergency, and they should probably call other people. Get the word out, because this same person was of the opinion that, well, there's millions of people on the Gulf, and so if something was going on, everybody would know about it. And that was about as far as that went. She went further to say that there's no way you can conceal that kind of information. I informed her, no, you cannot conceal that kind of information. It's out there everywhere, but you have to look for it because the news can't cover it. And that was bullshit. So again, if you live down there, why don't you tell everybody you know if something's going on, really? I've only heard from a couple of people anywhere online, so do what you're doing. As I was writing someone a letter regarding this subject, and it did start to really dawn on me as to how completely and entirely Orwellian things really are starting to get. It's bizarre to me that the Supreme Court granted this ruling on the Second Amendment. It blows my mind. Wouldn't think they would do that right as they're actively suppressing the First, but nonetheless, that happened. And meanwhile, our borders being left open to the Zetas and the other drug smugglers to come in and kind of do what they want. And the government's response, the federal government's response, has been to put up signs that say, "Danger, do not enter." And what's coming through there? Well, government money, drug money is coming through there. Sure, they have other ways to get it here, but, why shut off an easy open source? Somebody's got their hands in that cookie jar. I mean, that's just too easy. Meanwhile, though, while we're not fighting that drug war, we're sending 6,000 Marines to Costa Rica to help them fight their drug war. Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, that's really happening. That shit's real. But seriously, can you really believe that? We're sending 6,000 Marines. Marines are going down there to fight. Marines don't go to do peacekeeping. They go to fight. So 6,000 guys that are trained and want to kill something are going to Costa Rica to fight a drug war while our border is left open. That's just... You really can't explain that. There is no logic behind that, but that's what's actually happening. I suppose there's logic in it if you think of it like, we got soldiers in Haiti, and now we got some in Costa Rica, and Hugo Chavez just nationalized 11 oil rigs. But, let's not get all that far out there. And then, of course, this new bit came up today, and I know this is an older bit, but, who would have ever thought you'd see the day where you could have Black Panthers harassing people outside of polling places and then be acquitted by the Department of Justice when the prosecutor had it in the bag? They acquitted him. And now apparently there's no such thing as a racial crime if it's against white people. It has to be against a minority. It's definitely 1984 here in the year 2010. And the last bit, of course, if you people didn't hear about it, I'm just going to put it out there, and I'm going to give this a big fat 0 on credibility. But like everything else, we'll see when we get there. there's this claim now that Operation Deep Sleep is going to take place, in which they're going to spray chemtrails early in the morning over all the Gulf residents. And it's going to, this time, have a drug. And it will, it'll put them out. They'll all be asleep. And if they wake up, they'll be mostly paralyzed. They really won't be able to move. And simultaneously at 4:17 a.m., between HARP and some really cool sonar weapons, what they're calling sonar tests, I suppose, will be used to then fracture the seafloor. Let this giant gas bubble explode out, creating the giant death tsunami, the oil tsunami. And then they're going to detonate it in the atmosphere, which is claimed will be bigger than any nuclear weapon we have anywhere in any arsenal in the world, and just create a huge firestorm down there and wipe all those people out. And make sure they're good and sleepy so they can't get away if they're on the outskirts. I don't believe that. I really don't. But if it happens, it's one of those things, if it happens and you knew it was going to happen, it probably wasn't an accident. So it's always good just to mention it. As if we were in a conversation, I would tell you about that. We might have a laugh about it, but I would tell you nonetheless. So that's my report for June 8th, July 8th, 1984. You guys have a wonderful